My name is Maryland Plumey Marin, and this is my first episode of Yes, I Can. And the whole motivation behind doing this podcast is to be able to help other women that may be in the same situations that I've been in the past. I want to be able to motivate you, inspire, and hopefully help you get through these rough times that you may be going through in your life. I'm not a new jack. I'm pretty old up there. My numbers are up there. So I've had a lot of experiences in life, from being in domestic violence relationship, being abused, having narcissistic husband, having adult children, having multiple businesses, being an entrepreneur, and most importantly, being a woman in this crazy world that we live in. So, with that being said, my whole motivation behind this is to hopefully, for one day, for my children to be able to see this and maybe understand me a little bit better. A lot of times your children look at you as mom, she's Wonder Woman, and really we're not. Yeah, we keep it together for everyone and try to always lead the pack. But at the end of the day, a lot of times we also are vulnerable. We're human beings. We break down. Sometimes we need encouragement. We need someone to push us and help us stay focused and reach our own personal goals. So I'm hoping that this channel will help my daughters see me in a different light as well. That I'm not only their mom, but I'm a woman. And I've been through a lot of things in my life, and they don't know my whole story. So with this channel, they would learn more about me. And I pray to God that they would understand me a little bit better. And maybe they may find themselves being better connected to me because they can reflect on some of the things I've been through. I know a lot of times our children keep things from us and they don't tell us everything. And maybe my daughters have gone through some things that I've already gone through and they didn't know it. And maybe they didn't feel comfortable enough to come to me to get advice or guidance or support. So I just hope that me being open and transparent, and that's who I am. I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell people how I feel, and you can decide if you want to be part of my life or you don't. It's totally up to you, and I'm okay with that. So that's what this podcast is about. To give you a little bit more background on myself, I am a mother of 5 daughters. My oldest daughter is 42. Second oldest is 36. The next one is 32. And the next one is 30. And the youngest is 25. So they're all grown adults with their own families and their own careers. And I'm hoping their own dreams and aspirations. And I always have them in my prayer and always want what's best for them. I've learned to not be judgmental, to learn to listen to them, to ask them, do you want me to give you advice or do you want me to just listen? So I've learned that. Being an adult children mom is not easy. We hope and pray that when our children are small and they get older, right, we could build these friendships with them once they become adults. That has not been easy in my case, and I'm hoping that, that helps my relationships with my own daughters. I have 16 grandchildren and 2 great grandsons. So we have a very big family. I wish that we were more tight-knit like the way the girls were growing up. But there's always room for change, right? And, giving it to God and hoping that He'll bring the family closer together. And who knows, maybe this podcast will help us accomplish that as well. So that's what this is about. So we will be discussing all kinds of things. I also have had multiple businesses, been an entrepreneur since I was like 12 years old with my dad. He showed me how to be a hard worker, go out there, hustle for what you want, and never hold anything back, follow your dreams. And I learned that from my dad. He was always very supportive in that area. And I hope that my children follow their dreams, and I hope I can help you follow your own dreams and not be afraid to step out on faith, because I believe that with God, everything is possible. You put Him first, and everything will just fall into place. I am a Christian. What else? What else can I tell you? I'm super excited about this. I'm glad that God has put the right people in my life. Ms. Chevron and Mr. Sheldon are helping me with my podcast, and they're becoming amazing friends. And I'm building my team, like she tells me all the time. She says, I'm planting seeds. So next year I should see a full garden of flowers and new businesses blossoming and new relationships blossoming, and just, making my dreams a reality, because at the end of the day, the longest relationship you have in this world is with yourself. Not your children, not your spouse, not your parents. Usually it's yourself, because your parents will die, and they won't be around to see you become a senior citizen. Unfortunately, our parents don't live forever, so they don't get to see us, become senior citizens and elderly. And, that's something that we all live to be older. We all pray to get to that age. But the longest relationship we have is with ourselves. And that's why it's so important to love ourselves. And that's why I chose to name this podcast, Yes, I Can. My whole life, I've always been on survival mode. I got to get through this. I got to get through that. And, that's just your drive. You're moving forward in life. And sometimes, we stumble, but you just got to get back up and keep moving. Don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of days where I have my pity parties and I have to call my girlfriends and they help me get through it. Because sometimes we get to overthink things and we get in our own head and, we overanalyze everything and we start becoming emotional, and then we start doubting ourselves like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, or am I capable of pulling this off again, and things like that. So I thank God that I have my support, my girlfriend, Virginia, Jackie. We've been friends over 40 years. My other girlfriend in Texas, Violet. We've been friends over 30 years. So those are my support system, and of course my husband, which is always my biggest supporter. So he always tells me, go for it, babe. You don't know if you're going to make it if you don't try. So I think that it's always important to have someone in your corner that tells you that. Because a lot of times, sometimes we doubt ourselves, or we think, can I really do this again? And here I am, reinventing myself after closing my business of 8 years. And I have a lot of things in the pipeline. And this was one of the things that I always wanted to do. I've always wondered how you do it, how do you get started? And one day, my friend came over, we were talking about one thing, and the conversation got started with this. And she's like, oh, my husband loves to do podcasts. And I was like, what? So that's how this whole crazy idea got started, and we're making it happen now. As many of you know me, I am a doer. I don't say something and not do it. I say something and I make it happen. It may take me a month, a week, a year, 10 years, but believe me, I would do it. So this is one of the things I've always wanted to do, and it's come to fruition. We're making it happen. Today is my first episode, and I'm just super excited about it. And I can't wait to see and hear your feedback. Um, Yes, I Can is going to develop into other resources. We're going to talk about counseling. We're going to talk about resume workshops. We're not only going to have a podcast, we're also going to create a nonprofit where we can support women in our community of all walks of life. And being a mother of 5 girls, I've always been a big advocate for women. I always want to empower them. I was a Girl Scout leader for 8 years. My kids went from daisies to brownies to cadets. So I did that. I was always very involved in my church when I lived in Pennsylvania. I feel like I need to find a home here in a church where I feel that you don't get lost because the church is so big, and you actually make good lasting relationships. And when your pastor sees you, he actually knows who you are. So I want to find a home church like that where I feel that I can get fuel for the week, right? Because that's why we go to church on Sundays, to get fuel for the week. And that's just, who I am and what I want to bring with this podcast. And my message is to always love yourself. If you're not good to you, and if you're not good, you're no good for nobody else. And that includes your spouse, your friendships, your children, especially your children. You need to be good to take care of them. So your cup needs to be full, so your overflow could be for everyone else. So with that being said, time to close it up. And thank you for the opportunity. And I can't wait to hear your feedback. Yes, I can.